All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. And this is going to be a lesson on how you Edomites are playing around with Obadiah 1 and 18, right? And it's a spin on what the American president said to you, the Ukrainian president, when he said to him, you're playing around with World War III, right? And you Edomites, right, to take your own words and fire them back at you, you're playing around with Obadiah 1 and 18. And let's read it. It is Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh have spoken it. And all the things that these Edomites are doing right now to try and escape judgment. And I heard a brother say this, an elder say this. I was like, man, that's true. All the things that these Edomites are doing to try and escape getting judged, they're only leading themselves right to where they're going to get judged, man. Right? They're leading themselves exactly to where their judgment is going to be. Malachi chapter 1 and verse 2, I have loved you, saith Yahweh, yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord Yahweh? Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. So when these Edomites are complaining about how their society is destroyed, they're not wrong, but it's destroyed because they're wicked. Right? Their cities are destroyed because they're not even living according to the ways of the Lord anyway. And the scriptures are clear. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. And these Edomites can never admit that they stole everything from everyone. They try and say conquest and all that. No, that's called stealing, mate. Don't matter what did Shakespeare say, man? A rose by any other name would still smell as sweet. Theft by any other name is still taking somebody else's things and calling it your own, right? Murder, unalivement. Like right now on this earth, you can't really say the word murder, right? You have to say unalived. But that word by any other name, right, it's still the same action. You're still making someone's spirit leave their body, man. Theft by any other name is still taking something that's not yours. No matter what fancy word you want to, oh, we didn't steal this land. It was a conquest. It was theft then. So you stole it, right? Because it's not yours to begin with, so you stole it, right? And then they stole it, and then they've ruined it anyway. And they complain about, man, this is the thing that gets on my nerves with these Edomites, you know. They complain about melting pots all over this earth. Oh, the diversity is our friend and all this. They say all of this, right? But all the countries that are melting pots on this earth, most of them are ran by them. But it's not ran by them because we made it be ran by them. It's ran by it because they need it. They choose to do it, man. They choose to have these Edomites bring in all these other people. And they because it benefits them. If it didn't benefit them, they wouldn't do it. Right? They do it. And then these lower level Edomites like to try and look down at the other people. And that's how it starts off initially. They bring in some foreigner people, right, that they call some immigrants, and then there's a blurred line between illegal immigration and legal immigration, and it just gets to where they just say immigrant, and that just is a blanket covering on a person, whether there was a legal one or illegal one, right? And initially they start laughing at the people that they can't speak the language properly, even though most of the people in the country themselves can't speak the language properly themselves, right? They start laughing at them, then people gradually start building up to where they overtake the lower level of the people that supposedly are the main people living in the country, right? And then they gradually the so-called immigrants gradually start entering into the middle class, and then that's when the Edomites start complaining, man. But really, in that time frame, the elites of their own people have been stealing the wealth from everyone. And when is it that you like? Here's the thing that you Edomites always do, right? You always say to so-called black people, you always skipping the blame. You never blame your own people. You're always blaming the white man and the white privilege. Well, when the fuck, yeah? Are you Edomites going to blame your own people? When are you going to stop saying black fatigue and stop saying, oh, immigrant is because of immigration, blah, blah? When are you going to point out that it's you? When are you going to point out that what your role has been on this earth with how things are going on, man? Because the reason why money's about to become expired with the CBD system, right? The reason why all the banking systems out there are not because of no immigrants. It's got nothing to do with immigration. Because immigrants have not got no say in that. So-called black people ain't got a say in none of this stuff, man. The reason why people is bending their knee on some Black Lives Matter had nothing to do with so-called black people making the Black Lives Matter be on the FIFA. They ain't got money to be doing that. They ain't gonna spend their money on that. That was your own people doing it, man. So when are you gonna take the beam out of your eye before you start talking about other people? All you people out there that you want to say that so-called black people were not the Israelites. Okay, how about you always asking us to pick up the Bible and prove who we are. How about you pick up the Bible and prove who the fuck you are? How about that? Because we don't have to believe the Bible the way you want us to believe it, man. How about you pull out the Bible and prove who you are in there? You're always asking us to prove with our DNA. Have you did a DNA test? Have you did one? They're always asking us to do something. Have you did it yourself? Oh, but we don't care if we're the Israelites. So why the hell do you care if we are? If you don't care who you are yourself, then you've got a nerve to be trying to care about who we are. That's a complete nerve. But that's you people. You'll literally say you don't understand or don't know the answer to what a scripture means. But then you'll tell us that we also don't know. Because you can't possibly believe that you could not know it, but we do know it. Like that's just so far beyond your belief that we could know something that you don't know. You're like, nah, that's absolutely ridiculous that they could know something that we don't know. Yeah, we can. We believe that the name of the Lord is Yahweh Shai. You believe that the name of the Lord is Jesus. Well, we're closer than you are. Even if we was wrong, which we're not, we're closer than you are because the letter J was the last letter of the English language. You would have been more accurate when you was beginning the name of the Lord with the letter I. Because that was before the letter J. But that's the thing with you people, you're dumb. And you think you're smart. And like I said at the beginning of the video, you Edomites are playing around with Obadiah 1 and 18. You're running around. Let me read verse 4. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we return and build. And Salakia for swearing as well, man, for any people that get offended by swearing. But you see these people, yeah? Sometimes there ain't really too much ways you can express how annoying they are without swearing. Verse 4, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but we will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh have indignation of ever. So that's literally saying that they're going to try and do all of these things, but ultimately, they're still going to get destroyed anyway. They shall build, but I will throw down. They're going to build it, right? They're going to get to see the society the way how they would want to have it. And that's why it says in the scriptures that, like, for when they shall say peace and safety, man. But let's read this, Job chapter 20 and verse 23, when he is about to fill his belly. So he's going to have everything set up nice, right? He's already marinating the kingdom that he wants to make right now. He's setting it up. He's thinking, oh, I wonder what kind of robotic shell I'm going to make for myself, how tall it's going to be. I'm going to make a more handsome one than this ugly self I am now. They're already thinking of all of it, what they want to do. But when they actually try and fill their belly with it, it's not going to work, man. God shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. So he's even going to get a few tastes, right? When he's about to fill his belly, so he's going to get a little taste of his kingdom because he's going to get the MOTB in some people. He's going to get to probably play around with them. Like I heard one brother mention that movie Gamer, and I went and ended up watching it, right? That movie was kind of mad, right? He's going to get to play around with people like a video game character and be like, oh, I'm going to control this person, L1, down forward B, down forward X, down back A and all that. He's going to get to play around with these people like their little video game characters and mess around with their mind and all that. He's going to get a little test of that, right? But when he's about to try and fill his belly, meaning he's gonna complete the kingdom and actually win, right? It's not gonna work, because he's even gonna get the chance to unalive certain members of the elect. So he's gonna think, oh, what are all these different Isaiah 47 spells that I've been doing have obviously worked, but there's gonna come a point where Yahweh makes it not work, because really it never did work. Really, Yahweh was just looking at these people and like, man, these stupid idiots actually really believe that all these stuff works. So I'm gonna allow the demons to give them these things from them doing all these stupid stuff. But it don't really work. It's just I want them to believe that there's power in this stuff. But the moment I said that there's not any power in it, there isn't no power in it. Therefore, there was never any power in it. And that's why when you read Isaiah 47, it says, if these things can be, roughly paraphrasing it, if these things be, you should be able to profit from it then. Verse 24, he shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. It is drawn and cometh out of the body, yea, and the glittering sword cometh out of his gall. Terrors are upon him. Verse 27, in fact, verse 26, all darkness shall be hid in his secret places. A fire not blown shall consume him. It shall go ill with him that is left in his tabernacle. These Edomites are going to, man, the fire that's not blown is going to consume a lot of you Edomites, man, from them ICBMs. But not every single Edomite's going to go through that. So there's going to be the Edomites that escape that. But guess what they're going to see instead? Yahushai, right? The elect, the angels, the 144,000, right? The newly transformed Israelites that are under the new covenant, they're going to have to deal with them. Because there's already going to be like a after war battle between the Edomites that think that they won World War III versus the elect to the nation of Israel and Yahushai. Yahushai and the elect to the nation of Israel. There's going to be a battle after that, man. There's going to be a battle after all that the Israelites are going to go through once they're changed with the rest of the Edomites, man. And that's written in, I believe, Ezekiel 38. Verse 27, the heavens shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him, which it's doing now. People are starting to realize that you Edomites are hypocrites. I was watching some video where Elam was talking all about you Edomites, man, about how you're hypocrites, and about how you don't like this person, you don't like that person, and about how you do immigration differently when it's anyone that's not white. Which you Edomites are not really white anyway. Just the fact that you was even able to make people believe that shows how high level your witchcraft was. Because people still, even though they don't like you Edomites, they still don't believe what the Hebrew Israelites are saying concerning the Israelites. They still believe that you're a Jew because your mom's one. Because they haven't took the time out to read. Everyone will be quick to say it's not the elites, it's the Jews. But they haven't looked into the Bible and been like, hang on, let's start looking at it and researching about these people to find out what makes them tick. They haven't did that because they still believe what you say about these people concerning them when you're not even them anyway. Let favor be shown to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness? People believed you're the chosen, and you still ain't did nothing with it really apart from more wickedness. You completed the identity theft, and then you still just acted like an Edomite anyway. If you really wanted to escape the judgment and escape Obadiah 1:18, you should have completed the identity theft and then acted like an Israelite. You should have kept the laws. You should have tricked the world into thinking you're Israelites and then acted like an Israelite. But instead, you tricked the world into thinking that you're the Israelites and still stayed acting like an Edomite anyway. You still stayed acting like your same forefather that sold the birthright. So what was the point? You still lived by the sword anyway. Because that's the only way you can rule. You were set up to be like that. You can't live no other way. And you're playing around with Obadiah 1:18. Right? You ain't escaping that. That's your destiny. Right? Just like how we ain't escaping our destiny of being immortal. We're going to be immortal whether we like it or not. The same must know it after death by pain. Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 12. For thus saith Yahweh, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken. And art thou he that shall go altogether unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. You're playing around with Obadiah 1:18. You ain't escaping that. Everything you're doing, trying to kick the Israelites out of America, the Northern Kingdom, that's still going to lead to Obadiah 1 and 18 being fulfilled, because it's going to make them start realizing, man, why is this happening to us? We must be the Israelites then. And I heard Apostle Tahar say that they're trying to do that to stop the prophecy of the Israelites being gathered out of Babylon, all of the tribes. And it's not, and that proves that they're not going to be able to deport them, because that prophecy cannot be able to be stopped. So with them trying to do that, it's not going to work. It's just not going to. Verse 13, for I have sworn by myself, saith Yahweh, that Basra shall become a desolation, a reproach, a waste, and a curse, and all the cities thereof shall be perpetual waste. And now these cities of Basra are America, because America stole that land and has claimed it. It's theirs now, right? But what's it going to become though? Destroyed. And their actual homeland, Edom, Mount Seir, is going to become the Israelites' land, according to the book of Obadiah. They of the south shall possess the mount of Esau. Judah are going to possess Esau's land, man. You Edomites are not going to be able to escape this. Everything you're doing, like in order for you to, in a earthly sense, keep your kingdom, just stay as it is like now, right? Every now and again, when you need to make a few rich Israelite so-called black celebrities, throw them a little deal here and there, you know what I mean? But don't try and overstep your mark and try and give people the MOTB, because that's just leading to World War III being fulfilled. The moment that you Edomites actually make the MOTB be as it's going to be mandatory, that prophecy is being fulfilled, goes on to the next stage of prophecy, because now people are going to take it. So then the selection process of who is not and who is of the elect to the nation of Israel, and who is of the elect, who the chosen people are of the elect to the nation of Israel, who does believe in God and who don't believe in God, is going to be shown. Then it's going to lead to the prophecy where the people that have took the MOTB get the grievous sores on their hand, and that's going to lead to the prophecy where the people that have took the MOTB are going to be cast into fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Who's the Lamb? Yahweh Shai. Without the MOTB prophecy being fulfilled, and let me read it. Like, I don't need to run my mouth. I can read it. We can read it, man. Isaiah chapter 14, Revelation chapter 14 and verse 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his charagma in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out of that mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So I can give you some Edomite some advice right now. I know you're not going to take it though, because you're proud and you're demons. But I'll give you the advice anyway. So you can't say when you're in them chains in the kingdom, you can't say he wasn't warned, right? If you want to keep your kingdom, do not, right? And I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna repeat it. Do not go through with your plan of giving people the micro CHIP as the new payment method, the new method of control that you want to have on people, because that prophecy being fulfilled is directly connected to the return of the Messiah, Yahushua, who you are scared of, by the way. The same Messiah that you Edomites, let me read it. Revelation chapter 6 and verse 15, and the kings of the earth and the great men and the rich men and the chief captains and the mighty men and every bondman, and that's all those of Esau in particular, and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, in all your underground bunkers, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne. They're going to be crying to their down. It's going to be like they're going to be crying to their bunkers, like, please work. We've been building you for centuries. Please work. Close the doors. Close the doors. Lock it shut. And they're going to be having all their little all their flipping cameras on there, satellites that are used to watch what's going on, like how you see in the movies. And hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, that's Yahweh, and from the wrath of the Lamb, which is Yahweh Shai. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? So it's literally written in the scriptures that you Edomite, all the things you Edomites are trying to do, is going to lead to you being destroyed, man. You're playing around with Obadiah 1 and 18. When the moment that you Edomites fulfill that prophecy of the MOTB being mandatory, which you think is a plan that you've actually came up with and is in your mind that you're going to use this to fill what you want to do. But that's in the scriptures though. You cannot believe it all you want. Revelation 13 and 16 is exactly that technology that you're trying to use to control people. We know it and you know it. But the demons that are telling you what to do have tricked you into being like, oh yeah, this is the only way. You have to do this. Forget what them Israelites are saying. You have to do this, but don't worry. I'll tell you the next thing that you have to do after you do this so that you can escape them fulfilling that next part. And if you can just stop this part, then don't worry, they won't be able to do this part. It's okay, I'm with you. He's not with you. Them evil spirits are not with you. They're with Yahweh. Don't you understand? He's the father of spirits. He controls both sides, man. He controls your stupid ass. You're playing around with Obadiah 1 and 18. If you want to just keep your kingdom, keep it like it is. Every now and again when people complain, just give them a bit more money or whatever. Don't try and overstep your bound, because the more you be wicked, the more people are going to believe you're the Edomites. The more you start reducing the amount of money that people have to live, the less they're going to be distracted. They're going to be distracted less. The more that people get angry, the more that it's going to make a wise man mad. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. What people consider oppression is different. But the less people have, the more people are going to be seditious against your society. So we've gave you the plan to not do it, but you're still going to anyway because you're wicked. But we've told you exactly what to do to keep your society, but you're still not going to do it anyway. You're playing around with Obadiah 1 and 18, and it has to be fulfilled. It has to, man. But I'm going to end the lesson there anyway. These Edomites, they think they're smart, but they're not. And they have to fulfill what Yahweh wants them to fulfill, man. Man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? Shalom.